In this video of the Historic Ordnance series, we are looking at former Yugoslavian TMA-2, also known as the TMA-2, low metallic anti-tank mine. Now, from everything that I've seen on this, from the photos of recovered mines and that stuff, and examples like this that are in displays, it looks like these entered service in the late 1950s, and the reason I'm going off of that is the date, which is located right here on the side of the mine. The date includes the month and year of production. The earliest ones that I seen said late 1950s. These mines reportedly replaced a similar mine in Yugoslavian service known as the PT-56. Cannot find any pictures on that, but demining sources all say that the PT-56 is pretty much interchangeable with the TMA-2. The only difference is they're a little bit smaller, a little bit less explosive, but other than that, they're pretty much the exact same. They're pretty much a copy of each other. Now, some of the technicals on this, they are 10¼ inches in length, 8 inches in width, 5½ inches in height. Weight is 16½ pounds, of which 14⅓ pounds is the explosive filler. The explosive filler is TNT. There are 3 fuse wells in the mine, as you can see here from the schematic. 2 for the primary fuses and 1 for secondary fuse well for an anti-handling device. This is located dead center on the bottom of the mine. Construction of the mine is plastic. Standard colors are gray or green, with green being the most common, and markings are in black on the side of the mine. Yugoslavians referred to these as the briefcase, and reportedly the militaries in the former Yugoslavian Republic still refer to them as briefcases. Primary fuse to set this off. There is 2 in each mine located underneath these caps, and they are the standard UANU1 or UTMA-1 pressure fuse. Amount of pressure required to detonate this mine is a minimum of 220 pounds. Reportedly, though, some were modified to be set off with the weight of an adult standing on top of it, even without gear. And I will get into that. Same message applies to the fuse on here as in other mines that have the UTMA-1 fuse, such as the TMA-1 and TMA-5. Do not handle the UTMA-1 fuse. Do not carry it around unless the safety pin is installed, because it does not take much to push down the plunger on the top of the fuse here to set this off. There's a note that the secondary fuse well in the center of the mine on the bottom takes Russian and US anti-handling devices, such as the Russian MUV series and the US M1 and M142 multi-purpose firing devices. These mines have been encountered across the former Yugoslavia and reportedly are still in inventory. They have also been encountered in Angola and Namibia in Africa. Now, to install these mines, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. First, you go through, inspect the mines, make sure that it is not damaged to the point where it will interfere with operation. You also inspect both fuses that will be installed in the mine. Make sure that they have not been damaged either. The fuses are packaged separately from the mine. Everything passes inspection. Move to the location where the mine is going to be placed and prep the area. If it is to be buried, the depth of the hole is to the top of these ribs on the top of the mine here. You want a maximum of 1 to 1.5 inches of dirt over the top of the mine. Do not go too much deeper than that because you run the risk of creating too much of a cushion so that not enough pressure will be applied to the top of surface of the mine to set it off. Once a hole is prepped, you will then place the mine inside the hole. You will remove the fuse well caps. You will then take one of the TMA-1 fuses, and because of the space inside the fuse well here, you will have to remove the safety pin from the fuse and very carefully screw it into the fuse well inside the mine. You will then replace the fuse well cap over that location. Do the same in the other fuse well. Once both fuses are in, the mine is armed. Then cover up the mine and camouflage. Now for removal, it is essentially the reverse. You will first check around the area, make sure there are no protective mines or booby traps around the mine. If any are located, deal with them before continuing on to the mine. After you get that step cleared, you will move on to locating the mine. And locating the mine is extremely hard with this one, reportedly from the deminers. The only metal content is the blasting cap on the TMA-1 fuse. It is made out of aluminum and it is extremely hard to detect. All other parts holding this mine together in its construction are made out of plastic. Once you locate the mine, you will uncover the top and you will begin checking for anti-handling devices. First on the sides, then you will check underneath, and remember that the secondary fuse well is dead center. If any signs of anti-handling devices are found, stop and destroy the mine in place. If no anti-handling devices are located, you will then remove the fuse well caps, and one at a time you will gently unscrew the TMA-1 fuse, remove it from the mine, reinstall the safety pin, set it to the side, screw that cap back in, do the same on the other side. Once both fuses have been removed, attach a grappling hook and rope to the mine. There is a carrying handle down here on the front of the mine, coming out the bottom. You will take the fuses away from there, go out to the length of the rope, and you will pull the mine out of the hole, just in case there is an anti-handling device that you were not aware of. If the mine does not detonate, give it about 5 minutes. Go up, recover the mine, turn in the mine and the fuses to the mine dump for later reuse. Now, some ways that these were messed with during the Bosnian Civil War. There's a couple things that they used to do. They would remove the plastic screws from the side of the mine, open it up internally. One of the things they would do, they would run a booby trap device like a MUV series fuse inside the mine itself, say a pole fuse, and it would run the tripwire from that pole fuse out the bottom secondary fuse well, tie that off to a stake underneath the mine. When a deminer or an engineer would come in, do a general feel through, wouldn't feel a firing device underneath it, they may not notice the wire, figure the mine is not booby trapped. They would then pull the mine out of the hole. That pull igniter would get set off inside the mine, and it would set off the explosives inside there. Another thing that you would see, reportedly, they would remove 2 of the plastic screws on the mine on one side, leave the other 2 in place. Now, by removing those 2 plastic screws, what you did is you seriously lowered the amount of pressure required to set off the mine. And reportedly, an average size adult at that time, who would be under 200 pounds, because it's Eastern Europe right after the end of the Cold War, they typically weighed a lot less than the average male from Western Europe or North America. They would step on top of one of these, and with those 2 screws missing, it was more than enough pressure to set off the fuses. Another thing that they would do, remove the plastic screws, take the cover off the mine, install a mercury switch type fuse in the explosive inside the mine, also referred to as a super quick fuse. Go through, arm the mine, arm the fuse, and then they would reattach the top cover on here, put all 4 plastic screws back in so that the deminer would not notice. Go through, check for anti-handling devices. Wouldn't find any. Try pulling the mine out of the hole. That mercury switch would set off the mine in their face. There you go. The basics that I could find on the Yugoslavian TMA-2 low metallic anti-tank mine, also referred to as the briefcase. These mines are very old. I would not trust them because you are talking mines that are 60 to 70 years in age, and the TNT filler inside them will have degraded heavily by this point, so I would consider that extremely dangerous. And the reason it is extremely dangerous is because as TNT gets older, it leaks pure nitroglycerin out of the explosive content. It separates. And that nitroglycerin, it gets a little bit touchy. And you're not necessarily going to know because it'll be inside the mine and you're not going to see it. So during the inspections, if you ever come across these and you have to inspect them, if you see any type of syrupy or jelly-like substance leaking out of the mine, that is nitroglycerin, and that mine, it cannot be used. It must be disposed of as quickly as possible, and you must treat that mine with extreme sensitivity because it does not take much shock to set off pure nitroglycerin. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot militia movements, always remember, essayons.